Hi there, good morning to you once again. It's now time for news from here on GHOne TV. I am Lily Mohammed. Coming up in the next 60 minutes, former Give Board Chair Professor Ameyaw-Ekumfi pleads not guilty to charges including willfully causing a $2 million financial loss in the controversial SkyTrain saga. We're live with courtroom details. Also coming up, road linking Keta to Aflao washed away as part of Keta suffer major flooding. Our reporters are on the ground. We'll also gauge compliance with the latest GPRTU directive, slashing transport fares nationwide. Are drivers really sticking to this? The answers shortly. In business, the Bank of Ghana assures Ghanaians of imminent relief in commodity prices, pointing to recent gains by the cedi as a strong indicator. And later on the international front, Donald Trump lashes out at Vladimir Putin following a record-breaking air assault on Ukraine that claimed 12 lives. We have details of these and many others all in the 60 Minutes belt. Please stay tuned in. Hello again, I am Lily Mohammed. Former board chair of the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, Professor Ameyaw-Ekumfi has pleaded not guilty to charges of willfully causing financial loss to the state in the controversial SkyTrain project. Professor Ameyaw-Ekumfi and the fund's former CEO, Solomon Asamoah, face 6 charges, including causing financial loss of $2 million to the state. The charges were first brought against them on May 13, 2025, while Mr. Asamoah pleaded not guilty. Professor Ameyaw-Ekumfi was absent. All right, let's head over to Zoom and get more from our legal affairs correspondent, Mutala Inusa. Counsel, thank you very much. Well, I'm used to calling you Counsel, by the way. Captain, today, again, Professor Ameyaw-Ekumfi is absent. What is the reason?
So, Lily, thank you for the elevation. One day we'll get there. In fact, in relation to the SkyTrain matter, what I can tell you is that Professor Ameyaw-Ekumfi, the third time he has made an appearance here at the High Court in Accra, and his plea has been taken in relation to the up against him. In fact, on the 13th of May, the first time that the case was called upon, he was absent. Subsequently, last week, when the case came up for the second time, he was again absent on health grounds. But today, he made an appearance in court, and tellingly,
unfortunately, technology is not our best ally this morning. But let's move on and do other stories. We'll bring you that subsequently. It has been 2 days since the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, the GPRTU directive for a 15% reduction in transport fares took effect. While some commercial drivers in Accra say they have reluctantly complied, others argue the directive is unfair, especially when prices of spare parts and basic necessities remain unchanged. Zuleyha Nuhu has more in this report.
We are pleading them to reduce it for us because things are very difficult nowadays. The economy is very hard. So if the government brings something out to help all Ghanaians, they should accept.
Fair attention to the because many yet at first. And I got told a 50 pesos, 50 pesos. Okoto 10 cedi. Okoto 5 cedi. dear na chesi atete ma so draft ente ke joma mo hwe yie where dey to man no dey sade apam no
lord fede ya teso babuki fin so yente so ka una fon so nte o mo se so ebi aye papa de o man we no eye ebebo ayi nyina ba mesira mo amun kanche landlord for o mo nte o mo dan so e federal for na be fro car enso o mo dan o mo nte so
men chaze se fair ya kumu de dada yes betisu biem yes the confusion eba timi de men chaze na den ta yeji 10 cities so say 9 cities
ye ba sisia na nka me koka ne shibai minya problem timi ya maka o ka chem se fe dada na no no oje apani apa se there be problem ni nti mi tia 4 cedi ni di manu mi manu 3 cedi kwa o so onje enti fe ni dia ebi nje ebi teso ye
kakra ha mende wa todo e wo yen ele baba ko baabi no na baabi so won todo ofan cement bako store se bia mo na ngwa na no man keten to ba na ma na yesu die yim ndi sa aban no me yehwe ndɛ nka obɛndɛ the way what that start yen ye do yi na nka wona wa kan so watu odo sa me bibia ye kama
manopan de me ba no de ebi mu nti so ye ba isi am free kolebu eba no onwate so nti aye se enye obia na implementing ya on e kan no
e ko trezako ona me fro ka ba na eji 10 cedi the same 10 cedi na eji ya bisa se ya denti a mo se ji se Monday bi ni mo kra se o mo nti so kra
me ko madina.
All right, so let's go back to our earlier story on the 2 million SkyTrain saga involving Professor Christopher Ameyaw-Ekumfi. We've been joined now on the phone lines by our legal affairs correspondent, Mutula Nusa. Captain, you were giving us info, but unfortunately we lost you there momentarily. Please give us more detail.
So, Lily, as I talked to you, I made a point that Professor Christopher Ameyaw-Ekumfi, for the third time, when the case was adjourned between May 13, when the case was first brought to the court, today made an appearance in court. And you note that the reason that was given to the court at the last two sittings was to the effect that he is unwell and he has been taken to hospital. Today he made an appearance in court in a wheelchair, suggesting clearly that Professor Christopher Ameyaw-Ekumfi was not well in the two previous instances. In fact, his lawyers submitted documents and gave copies to the Attorney General, which in the course of the argument, in fact, what I was clear in court today was that his plea was taken in relation to the charges that was brought up against him. The two of them, together with Solomon Asamoah, the former chief executive, were on this count. He pleaded not guilty to his count in relation to the role that he played in Ghana, losing that $2 million in relation to the SkyTrain project. Prosecution, in fact, his lawyers advanced argument and submitted to the court that the man is unwell. In fact, largely his medical report or conditions was largely made open in open court. The judge at the point in time wondered why the defense lawyer would not file that to the court, but would rather want to make a viva voce oral submission in court to that effect, and make the point that an 80-year-old man is willing to submit himself to the law. He's in court with his passport to suggest that he will not run away anywhere. He lives in the Pokwase where his abode is known and all of that. The prosecution led by Deputy Attorney General Dr. Cites did not oppose to the grant of bail, except to say that if you look at the charges that have been brought, the bail sum in respect of Solomon Asamoah, his bail sum was 15 million Ghana cedis and 4 sureties. In respect of the sureties, he said that the sureties should rather be reduced, and but the bail sum should stay at 15 million.
Okay. Justice
Consort Tashiame listened to them and ruled that Professor Christopher Ameyaw-Ekumfi be granted bail in a sum of 10 million Ghana cedis with 2 sureties to be justified. And really, one of the sureties that we have identified in court is Kennedy or Japan. By the way of visuals that you are showing, he made an appearance here in court.
All right, Captain. Any other issue that came up predominantly in court today?
So the other leg of the case that will come out later on in the afternoon is in relation to the Ameyaw-Ekumfi matter, which has to do with the National Signal Bureau matter. But another case that has just gone by is in relation to the Madame Sierra's maid who are standing trial for allegedly stealing some monies belonging to her. But that case has been adjourned. But in our subsequent bulletin, we'll bring her up to speed full details in relation to what transpired.
All right. Thank you very much. That's Motula Inusa. He is our legal affairs correspondent. Let's do more stories. The Ghana Water Limited has issued an urgent evacuation warning to residents living downstream of the Wager Dam as it begins a controlled spillage exercise. The move is a precautionary measure aimed at reducing excess water levels in the dam, especially in anticipation of heavy rains during the season. Affected areas include Tetegu, Oblogo, Pambro Salt, Lower McCarthy Hill, Lower Wager, Bojo Beach, Adakope, and other nearby settlements. The Ghana Water Limited says this early intervention is necessary to prevent any looming disaster and safeguard lives and property. Let's now engage the head of corporate affairs for the Ghana Water Limited, Stanley Marty. Mr. Marty, thank you very much for joining us. Good morning to you. This is obviously not the first time we're hearing of controlled spillage. It's a yearly occurrence. For people who live in these areas, have there been measures to elevate their buildings such that even after they evacuate, the buildings are not destroyed? Have there been such interventions and talks with them?
I'm sorry to say that is not the responsibility of the Ghana Water Limited. For us, we have done everything that there is to be done to safeguard lives and property, which also includes the dam itself. So we have done a lot of education. You remember that we sent the first release out somewhere in March. And then in April, when the levels started rising, we also started the spillage. So we've been spilling since the second week of April. And as I speak, we have 2 gates open at 2 inches. Now, what we do is that we always invite all stakeholders together. And then we brainstorm on how we can manage this spillage every year. This year we did. We had the Municipal Assembly. We had the NADMO, National Security, the chiefs within the area, Landlords Association, and the inhabitants themselves living in that area. We've had a series of engagements, including face-to-face engagement, community fora. We used our public address system to go into the area. We've used the mass media, social media, every channel that is necessary for communicating with groups of people like that. We have used to ensure that 99% of the population in that area will have access to this information. So as I speak, everything has been done, and what we have to do, we have done. But we still have some recalcitrant and irresponsible members of this country who are still living in the area and telling us that they don't have anywhere to go. But then the NADMO is on the ground, NADMO is working. The District Assembly, whose mandate is also on the ground and working. And we are also monitoring the water as it flows into the sea. And we are hoping that there wouldn't be any eventuality. But prevention is better than cure. So our expectation is that we will prevent the eventuality from happening, other than waiting for it to happen before we try to talk plenty. Thank you.
Now, Mr. Martin, did I hear you say that you've been spilling since April?
Yes, second week of April.
Okay, so what's been the collaboration with NADMO to ensure that some residents who still live there, who have businesses there, are safe?
So like I said, it is the mandate of the Municipal Assembly and that of NADMO. And NADMO at the district level is under the Municipal Assembly. So they are doing everything. They are executing their mandate as they should. And we should, I hope that they are doing what is expected of them.
I know this is not the first time we're talking about this, but we're spilling water. Are we ever as a country going to get to a space where we'll be able to save that spilled water for further use someday?
Now, what we have to ask ourselves is, what would we use the excess water that we are spilling for? Okay. Currently, as I speak, we do not have use for it. For us in Ghana Water Company Limited, especially in the western part of Accra, we have enough water in our reservoir, which is the dam, and which we are able to abstract throughout the year for treatment for the people of Accra. Now, the inadequacy of water for the citizens of Accra is not as a result of lack of raw water, but it's as a result of lack of infrastructure or inadequate infrastructure to treat as much volumes of water as the people would demand for. You understand? So it is not the raw water in Accra, but because we have enough raw water available in the Densu, we have enough raw water in the Volta River. But it is the infrastructure which is unable to produce enough. And it's not because it's unable, but it produces to its maximum level. So we need to expand the infrastructure, or we need to put up a new infrastructure so that we can treat more water for the people. I hope the understanding is clear. If it's not, let me go down again. Now, the treatment plant is such that it can produce a certain volume of water in a day. Okay? That volume of water that it can produce in a day is not enough for the people. That the people are demanding more, but the infrastructure can produce up to a certain volume. Okay? It doesn't also mean that the raw water, which is the raw material, is unavailable. The raw material is available, but the infrastructure can only treat up to its maximum capacity or up to its limit. Okay, so why we are not getting water in Accra is not because of the raw water, but because of the infrastructure. You understand? So the excess water is not needed. We don't need it. We have enough water in the dam. We try to maintain the level at somewhere between 44 feet and 45 feet. At that level, we can have enough water to treat. Now, the moment you go beyond the 44, 45, we need to spill the excess water. Other than that, we compromise on the integrity of the dam. The dam is an essential property or essential infrastructure that we need to safeguard. Other than that, we will be hurt as a country if it has to collapse. And we can't afford to allow it to collapse. So what we will do is we safeguard the integrity of the dam. Now, if we are unable to do that and the dam is to collapse, the repercussions will be more serious or more terrible than if we have to spill. So it's important that we either spill the excess water to save the dam, other than allowing the water to all the water to come for it to flow 8 banks or to break the dam for it to destroy lives and property. I hope I'm clear this time around.
Very much for speaking to us, Mr. Mate. That's Stanley Mate. He's head of corporate affairs for the Ghana Water Limited. Now, tidal waves have once again struck the coastal communities of Agaveji and Adina in the Volta region, causing extensive destruction. This time, the waves completely washed away the only coastal road linking Keta to Aflao, cutting off access for residents and severely disrupting transportation and economic activity in the area. This latest incident adds to a series of similar disasters, including one earlier this year that displaced hundreds and left many families homeless. The recurring nature of these tidal waves underscores the urgent need for long-term sustainable interventions to safeguard lives and protect Ghana's vulnerable coastal communities. Now, joining us via Zoom is Oscar Akaba. He's a freelance journalist and cross-border communications consultant. Thank you very much for joining us, Oscar. And, well, this morning, so good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. I trust you're doing well, too. Thank you for asking, by the way.
Yes, just that my people at Salakope, Agabaji, Adina, and its environs are having a very tough day. From Saturday and Sunday, the tidal wave has actually displaced more people from those communities. Despite the effort by the Assembly to relocate them, a lot of attention needs to be put together to help those people.
Give us a vivid picture of the severity of this particular disaster.
It is so much severe that someone who is a fisher folk who has told to build a home for his family, have to be washed away by the tidal wave. So now they have to be misplaced or replaced, taken to another location where they are not familiar with. Children and mothers are suffering, most especially these traders, these fishmongers, traders are women who help us in terms of fish stock along the coastal areas have lost their livelihood because all the smoked fish that they have done have been taken away by the sea. So a picture that shows also where children can't go back to school again because of the tidal wave. The road linking Denu to Keta has also been seriously affected. A lot of commuters have to go through Atayinka Junction before heading towards Agbozuma before getting to Denu. It means they have to go around before accessing Aflao or a market. They have to go into Togo to trade. So this is a picture in the sense that a lot of economic activity is actually on its knee now. It is quite expensive to do business between Keta and Aflao now when using the coastal stretch. That is exactly the picture.
Now, Oscar, let me ask you this. You mentioned a while ago that they are being taken to areas they are unfamiliar with. Will they accept a total relocation so as to safeguard lives and further property?
It depends on what is provided. Then they would, and I am pretty sure of the arrangement the municipal assembly is doing to be able to help them. For example, the new place that has been allocated, they are trying to fill the place with sand, which some of this sand that has been taken away from the sea. They are using that sand to fill the new place to make it look more habitable, just like it was at the seashore. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Right.
So the assembly, in consultation with other stakeholders, are putting those arrangements in place. According to the MC, which I spoke to about on Sunday, he was also at the scene. It says they are actually looking for more help from central government and other benevolence that should come to their aid because they need lots of support. For example, if they can get tipper trucks that can load this sand in larger quantity to go and fill the new places that they are getting for these residents. If it is the same way, I am pretty sure the people will relocate.
But has there been any immediate intervention from disaster management organization towards the people as we speak?
Yeah, as usual, there have been some items have been brought so far, but between Sunday and today, we've seen them monitoring going around. But this tidal wave issue started again about a month ago, where our people have been displaced. The initial ones they came, the regional minister was also there. Relief item has been given out, but at the moment, the one that happened yesterday, Saturday and Sunday, we are looking forward to NADMO to bring some relief items. But I think the assembly currently is handling some of these petty ones, and the assembly is actually also discussing with some major stakeholders who are talking about dredging the lagoon, not an issue of sea defense, but rather dredging the lagoon to bring out sand. So some engineers have actually met the MPU. Some have also put in their proposals to help in trying to dredge the sea, just like it was in Lagos, where you have the Victoria Island, the Sandfield and Co. Some stakeholders, home and abroad, are coming on board they are having series of meetings with the municipal chief executive to see what they can do. And so we think central government should also come on board. The Minister of Water Resource and others should also come on board because it's an issue of a disaster, it's an issue of emergency. We need them to come quickly and collaborate for that activities to take place.
All right, Oscar, thank you very much for speaking to us. That's Oscar Akaba. He is a freelance journalist in the Volta region. Let's move on and do some politics. Former Member of Parliament for Asante-Akim North, Ameyaw-Ekumfi, has announced that Dr. Brian Achampong, the Member of Parliament for Abetifi, will contest the NPP's presidential primaries ahead of the 2028 general election. Ameyaw-Ekumfi described Achampong as the only candidate capable of rescuing the NPP from defeat in 2028.
Juma edai nyina yakuma so se ya peka ni papa na wabeje yeko NPP no obobo no elabi we enemy ya no.
For the love of the party, we are looking for a strong and capable leader to lead the NPP. I'm just a messenger, but I believe Honorable Dr. Bright Achampong has what it takes to help build and strengthen the party. He is the owner of Rock City Hotel, the largest hotel chain in Africa, in addition to his business accomplishments. He is also sponsoring students at Achimota Senior High School. Dr. Achampong is a kind-hearted and generous individual, and I believe he has the capacity to unite the party and address the challenges we face.
Yeko MPP no hia kabu yehu ne se oni nipa ba ko a osori gina obetimi atwe afanu ne nyina bebomu na enkabomu na fa so aba na yedi abeji Oman Ghana de it can only take an MPP government to develop it. And he said out of confusion about party no they say timi agem ama NDC for we believe we can always do better. Now doing better no. The champion of it will be Honorable Dr. Brian Achampong.
You're welcome back. This is Newsroom here on GHOne TV. I am Lily Mohammed. Now, Parliament is set to resume sittings this week following a period of recess as lawmakers return to the chamber to continue legislative business. Speaker Alban Bagbin has announced that the second meeting of the first session of the 9th Parliament of the Fourth Republic will officially commence on Tuesday, May 27, 2025. The notice was issued in accordance with Order 58 of the Standing Orders of Parliament. And we've been joined in the studio by our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent and our head of political desk, Ibrahim Alhassan. Ivy, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
That was quite a break.
A long break, but it's understandable, especially the fresh members of Parliament. They had their first stint in the first meeting. Some of them were still trying to sort out the accommodation issues here and there. The reason why we kept reporting about the low numbers, especially on the side of the majority.
Right.
With all that said, after this long break, that is expected to have been dealt with. And then also some of them returning to the constituencies. The committees have equally been active. Touring areas of their jurisdiction, agencies and what have you, and then ensuring that that oversight responsibility that is entrusted on members of Parliament is carried out. So tomorrow will be when almost everybody has returned learning the rudiments of parliamentary business. I'm talking about the fresh MPs.
What are some of the things that will be salient in discussion in this particular sitting?
Well, Lily, 7 individuals who have been nominated to join their colleagues at the Supreme Court. They are with their vetting. And I'm talking about the 7 Supreme Court Justice nominees. They will be vetted by the Appointments Committee. And not just that, the man talked about LI 2462 is expected to be repealed when the House returns. Not just that, the President has also hinted that there's a Parent Act, and that's a Mining Act, that might equally be amended to ensure that nobody is allowed to issue licenses for mining in forest reserves. Again, you heard the President talk about the fact that Dr. Kesela Tuforsen, the Finance Minister, might have some good news again for Ghanaians, and that will come in the mid-year budget review. That is equally expected to take place when this meeting comes into force tomorrow, and that's in August, we are told. Among many other things, in fact, this government has not presented any bill to Parliament yet. And so this is the time, this meeting is the period that many bills are expected to be sponsored by agencies and what have you, for the House to get to its work. That's the core mandate of the House.
You know what intrigues me? The 7 justices. I am wondering the commentary, the posturing of the minority. Because before the end of the 8th Parliament, remember, the then minority majority, as to, depending on whoever is looking at it, had qualms to say that we vehemently oppose those justices being nominated by President Akufo-Addo. Now we have the flip side. Same majority, now proposing 7 more justices.
Interestingly, there were 2 nominees vetted, 1 man, 1 woman, awaiting approval by the plenary. In fact, the recommendation from the Appointments Committee was approval by majority decision, and that's the MPP majority then. And one thing led to the other. That report of the Appointments Committee never got considered in the plenary. So as we speak, there are 2 individuals vetted, approved at the committee level, but might never get to be justices of the Supreme Court. So yes, it's interesting how this will pan out, but the advantage this time around for the majority side is that they've got the numbers.
Quite interesting. We'll be looking forward to that. Thank you very much. Ibrahim Alhassan is the head of political desk and our parliamentary affairs correspondent. Now, the former member of parliament for Anyaso, Dr. Dixon Adomakukisi, has weighed in on the ongoing spat between former Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dame and legal practitioner Thaddeus Sori. Thaddeus Sori recently criticized the former AG, labeling him a crybaby and accused him of hypocrisy following Dame's public statements. In a swift rebuttal, Godfred Dame said Sori's obsession with him is bewildering and in need of healing. Dr. Adomakukisi, however, says it is unprofessional and wrong for colleagues in the legal fraternity to attack each other in public.
Made it clear to him that some of the international cases he won were based on merit and not by virtue of the fact that he was necessarily Attorney General, and that he had even won a case against him, Thaddeus, at some point in time when he was not And I repeat, not an Attorney General. So it is unfair. And I really think that, not that I side necessarily with Adami, but I really think that it's so unprofessional. I do not disrespect other doctors in front of my patient. Some doctors do. I don't. I think that for professional ethics or professionalism, it is so wrong to, as it is, badmouth in public your colleague. The same thing goes with us as members of parliament. I cannot go to even an NDC member's constituency and disrespect him because we are colleagues. I may campaign against him, but not disrespect. There are levels in which you can go. So I think that they should call it a truce, and I'm hoping that the two legal minds will be a good example to those upcoming.
Meanwhile, a member of the legal team of the NDC, Victor Kwajoga Adaudu, has called on both former Attorney General Godfrey Dame and legal practitioner Thaddeus Sorry to put an end to the ongoing public exchanges. Adaudu emphasized the need for both parties to act with decorum.
It has a remote cause. I think that it started way back, not today. And I think that it's time that they are venting out their anger and frustration. But I think that, yes, within the profession, we have our own ethics. And some of the issues coming out is ethical issues that we have had. Everybody has his strength. Everybody has his weakness. As professionals, I think that we cannot wash our dirty linen in public. When Godfrey was the Attorney General, and during the Speaker's matter, I think one of the issues, even his own seniors, Dami, I think that was one of the things that has brought up this issue. Seniors told him to keep quiet, was that even Parliamentary Service had approved Thaddeus to be the Speaker's lawyer. But he came to court knowing very well had that document, was aware of it, and was questioning his capability. That how was he appointed? In public. Are you getting it? Did you ever hear Thaddeus speak about Dami? Almost all they may have their own issues. But once he did that in court, and his seniors, yes, there must be a truce. But the thing is that the pain and the anger within them, whilst they are venting those out, and at the end of the day, I'm sure some of the seniors should be able to call them and ask them, or even the bar itself, right? But whilst people will do that, it means that, excuse my language, the ego, the arrogance and everything should come to the bare minimum, that everybody will be able to say, let's submit and judge all.
Moving on, the GHOne Traditional Council and the concerned citizens of GHOne are urgently calling on government to restore peace and legitimate traditional leadership in GHOne. During a press conference, spokesperson for the GHOne chiefs, Nana Kwame Nkansah II, condemned the ongoing brutalities and unlawful activities taking place in the area. He demanded the immediate disbandment of all vigilante groups and the reinstatement of traditional leadership as determined by the legitimate kingmakers.
GHOne, as a traditional area, have not seen peace for the past 7 years. And if you have not seen peace, who is the cause of the chaos and anarchy in GHOne? And we are seeking peace in a right way. Don't want to seek peace wrongly. We are here to enumerate about 10 of issues that have happened for the past 7 years, which have not seen justice. And we are pleading with you, we are using you as a conduit for you to get to the presidency and other authorities that speak on peace, especially the judiciary, the Peace Council, for them to intervene such that we'll have peace. The installation of rival chiefs in the various communities, that is not bringing peace. And because of that, we have to go to court. Most of these times have to be stopped. The fact that the case is still ascended at the Regional House of Chiefs, and they have used a way to gazette him. All those issues have to be nullified.
It's now time for the business brief. Now, the Bank of Ghana is offering hope to consumers, assuring that the recent appreciation of the cedi will soon translate into lower prices of goods and services. The local currency, which had hit a high of 15 cedis to a dollar, is now trading at around 10.50 cedis. Speaking on the issue, Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Johnson Isiama, acknowledged public concerns about the slow pace of price adjustments, but insists that market dynamics will eventually compel traders to reduce prices in line with the cedi strengthening.
You can understand that some people stock their goods at a higher exchange rate. And so naturally, even with the appreciation, it takes a while, for you to see that adjustment. However, rest assured, you will see the adjustment certainly. So long as there's competition, so long as it's not a monopoly, we will see that kind of phenomenon very soon.
Now, Heath Goldfields Limited has reaffirmed its commitment to revamping the Bogoso Prestia mine to benefit the local community following a significant legal victory at the Accra High Court. The court on May 22, 2025 dismissed an application by Future Global Resources Limited and Blue Gold Prestia Bogoso Limited, which sought to invalidate the mining lease granted to Heath Goldfields. Moses Befia Champon, legal counsel for Heath Goldfields, spoke to GHOne News detailing the events that led to the court's decision and the company's roadmap for rejuvenating operations at the mine.
Almost all the technical issues are being resolved. In terms of the TSF, we are working on it. In terms of the processing plants, we are working on it. In terms of the underground pump, it's being worked on. And then as well, we are supposed to, FGR left some debts that we are supposed to take care of. For example, they had not paid their employees for about 10 months. They had not paid electricity bills. And they owed the suppliers, all the suppliers and the third-party contractors. After the court dismissed the injunction, we've engaged them. Currently, as we speak, we've paid about 50% of the workers there. Our plan is to revamp the mine and then start operations as soon as possible. So it is not true, first of all, that we have not made any investment. We have made huge investments. We are going to continue to. It's just the beginning of it. We are going to continue to make huge investments. The second part of we taking something out is not true. You know that as a large-scale mine, we do, our regulators, the Minerals Commission, we deal with them directly. Everything we do here, every activity we do here, MINCOM is updated. Whatever we did here, MINCOM is aware of it. We have letters sent to MINCOM.
Now, the Executive Director of the Advertising Association of Ghana, Isaac Kujo, is calling on government to set up an advertising council under the Ministry of Trade to oversee and regulate activities within the industry. He argues that this will be a more effective solution than having the Food and Drugs Authority enforce its proposed advertising guidelines.
Drink. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
It is common to see approved by the FDA on many products advertised on TV and radio, as the Food and Drugs Authority requires this for most regulated items on commercial stations nationwide. Despite this, Ghana does not yet have comprehensive advertising laws. A draft bill has been before Parliament for some time, but has failed to pass after multiple attempts during the 7th and 8th Parliaments. While some members of the Advertising Association must follow FDA guidelines, these rules do not fully support business promotion or enforce strong ethical standards within the industry. Speaking with the Executive Director of the Advertising Association of Ghana, he explained why the advertising bill to Parliament should be regulated by a council rather than FDA guidelines.
Sweet beverages cannot be advertised together with what they call junk food, or with food, or food institutions or establishments cannot advertise their product, their food, together with sweet beverages. So, for instance, Coca-Cola cannot be advertised together with KFC, or if you like, pizza, on billboards. You can only do it in your restaurant. we said this is an overreach. So they are looking just at the science part of it, looking at the commercial part of it, and that's going to affect a lot of revenue. And also, we challenge the fact that they would want FDA to be mentioned in every advert. When we advertise on air, it is money. Every second is paid for. So you see that right now, people even fasten that part. These are people it goes, because that space is money.
He further revealed that before you are allowed to advertise, you must be licensed by the council.
The bill itself, it will regulate content so that content is clean. Whatever is churned out is correct and is ethical. That bill will be administered by the Trade Ministry, the Trade and Industry Ministry. Then we will be members of the council, the Advertising Council, so that every practitioner, anybody who enters the advertising industry as a practitioner would be regulated. In other words, that if you are an advertiser of any form, you will be known by government, you'll be known by the council, you'll be licensed, so that whatever you do is monitored, so that we don't have all these irregular advertising, practices and all these crazy, messy situations we're having with the out of home or what we call billboards. The indirect side also will also benefit because everything will have to be done locally. We will not accept foreign impositions, when it comes to advertising.
Standardization is a key factor in regulating commercial advertising. Several West African countries have enacted legislative measures to improve the commercial advertising space. Members are hopeful that the bill will pass soon.
And that's it for the business brief. It's now time for the latest updates in sports. And Nana Amajiman is standing by. Nana, what's up for sports this afternoon?
In sports this afternoon, head coach of the Black Stars, Otuado, has named his 23-man squad, and also I have results. We have GHOne Mensah, because it's not really a big tournament. Okay. Most of the big boys are not in the squad, so lots of the local base players and also Black Stars-like players have gotten a chance to be in the squad.
I think it's a lot of work.
Yeah, to showcase what they have, and exactly. I believe they will prove themselves well.
Well, wait.
I am Nana Ameyaw-Ekumfi. Now, head of the Black Stars, Otuado, has settled in London. 4 base players named of Accra had to fall. To some Ghana Premier League news, where All Blacks have sailed a sensational return to the Ghana Premier League 16 years after being relegated from the top flight. The club, which led the Division 1 Zone 2 table for much of the season, confirmed their promotion with a commanding 3-0 victory over Ebisua Dwarfs. GHOne United have been crowned champions of the Division 1 League Zone 1, securing promotion to the 2025-26 Ghana Premier League. They sailed their place in the top flight with a convincing 3-1 victory over Italite at the GHOne Sports Stadium on the final day of the season. On the international front, Aston Villa have missed out on Champions League football after controversially being denied an opening goal in their 2-0 defeat to Manchester United at Old Trafford. Speaking to Manchester United supporters on the pitch after the game, and told them that good days are coming.
First of all, I want to apologize for this season. I know you are really disappointed with me and really disappointed with the team. Second thing, I want to say thank you. We are very grateful for your support during the season, and I know that was really hard. I know it was really hard to support us in many games. But now we have to make a choice. Or we stay stuck in the past, because this season is in the past, is over. We fight each other, or we stick together and move forward. 6 months ago, in my first 3 games in charge, with 2 victories and 1 draw, I said to you, the storm is coming. Today, after this disaster season, I want to tell you the good days are coming.
To other stories, Xabi Alonso has been announced as Real Madrid new manager after announcing this month that he would this summer. The former Real Madrid and Liverpool midfielder has signed a 3-year deal at Bilbao as Carlo Ancelotti's successor. The 43-year-old success at Leverkusen has elevated his profile, and Real Madrid believe he possesses the tactical sharpness and emotional intelligence to lead a generational transition. That is all for sports here on Newsroom. Back to you, Lily.
Thank you very much for that update. Manchester United will come back stronger.
Oh, they will never come back. They are never coming back.
It's okay, go away. Anyway, that's it for the sports updates. Let's head to the foreign front. U.S. President Donald Trump has described Russian President Vladimir Putin as absolutely crazy following Moscow's largest aerial assault in its 3-year war on Ukraine. Over the weekend, Moscow launched relentless overnight attacks, striking Ukraine on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Officials report that at least 29 people were killed and dozens injured during the barrage, which saw more drones and missiles deployed than in any single assault since the conflict began. Trump's comments arriving at a pivotal moment in the conflict are seen in the West as a sign of growing frustration in the White House over Putin's refusal to accept a proposed 30-day ceasefire. The Kremlin, responding on Monday, sought to minimize the impact of Trump's remarks, dismissing them as an emotional reaction. And that's it for Newsroom here on GHOne TV. I am Lily Mohammed. For more news update, kindly log on to starfm.com.gh. Good afternoon to you.